Chase, relax. They're gonna kill me. The order, the academy, it's collapsed. My sister and my mother are dead.
Don't I know you from somewhere?
That's just what I was going to say. That's the bloke we've been looking for. That's the Yank. What?
Well, what a coincidence, Mr. Michaels. I'm arresting you on suspicion of the murder of Miss Amanda Valley. I'm calling for arson, too.
What? No.
Take him away, Constable.
Inspector, I think I found her.
Damn. Call on the lads. There's nothing more we can do here.
She didn't set herself.
Why not? Perhaps she was cold and set herself on fire. For God's sake, she was murdered. Am I the only one around here with half a brain? Anyway, we are not going to find any more clues. It's been raining overnight. You stay here and wait for the cavalry. I'll go down to the village and ask some questions.
Bit early for a beer, isn't it, Inspector?
I'm here on official business, Tom.
It wasn't me, honest. Me brother Bobby's me witness.
Do you know Amanda Valley?
Yes, unfortunately. I still owe her money.
Well, hold on to it. Buy her a wreath.
Heck, why? Is she dead?
You could say that. Burned. Probably last night between 6 p.m. and midnight. Where were you at that time?
Hey, Inspector, you know I wouldn't kill anyone. Especially not over a few quid. I was out with Bobby at a theme park, Alton Towers. Got home pretty late and went straight to bed.
So, do you know if Miss Valley had any enemies?
Apart from the Gordons?
The Gordons.
Her brother was caught up by that Samuel chap. I guess that was before your time. Since then, she's absolutely hated that family. Have you seen her flat? It's bloody mad, I tell you.
Any other tips?
Have you seen that Yank that's been sneaking around here recently? I'd check him out if I were you. He's the one with the blood in his hands. He was chatting with Amanda Valley in front of the pub a few days ago. He asked me about a tackle for robbing houses. No idea why he came to me, but it sounded pretty suspicious.
Holy, she really hadn't gotten over it. What have we got here? Interesting. Darren Michaels, Bedford, Maine, last week. I'll bet anyone 10 quid that's the Yank Tom was talking about.
Inspector! Inspector, the castle's on fire!
Oh, great. As if a burnt corpse wasn't enough. Come on.
Just listen to what I've got to say first. Sure, can't just... Come on, get the car.
Call for the flaming torch that's to a burning castle. If this isn't my ticket out of this dump, then God only knows.
So, you fell in love with this woman?
Angelina.
Fell in love with Angelina without knowing she was your sister. She lured you to England, to Black Mirror Castle, the castle of your ancestors, to use you as a key for an old ritual. That's right, isn't it? Do me a favor and put the lighter down, all right? You said it had something to do with a curse, Adrian.
You tell me. All I know is that I drizzled blood on a book and read out incomprehensible words. And then bang, black all around me. And the next thing I can remember, there were sounds in the woods behind me getting nearer. All in all, a grade A nightmare. The ritual probably worked, and now I'm possessed by a centuries-old evil soul that wants to bend my mortal body to its purpose.
You believe you're carrying a second soul? Oh, Adrian, I know that feeling well. But believe me, no one is cursed. Children always believe they're to blame for grown-up suffering. These feelings of guilt have branded themselves into your soul. So, how was it for you to meet your biological mother after all these years? You said you didn't have much time to talk to her.
No, she was taken hostage by Angelina. They both died shortly afterwards. They fell into the abyss in the ritual chamber.
In the ritual chamber. Exactly. And your foster mother in America. Did you have a chance to talk to her about it?
No, she was in a coma, and then she died.
All right, then. Perhaps we should forget about the women in your family for the time being and turn to more happy matters. Let's talk about your father. Wait a minute, Constable. We're not finished yet.
Perhaps we can leave that till tomorrow.
As you wish.
I don't mean to interrupt, but the inspector has something important he needs to talk with Mr. Michaels about. And you know what the inspector's like. It's about the bail.
Is it still not high enough for him? There's no one who would spend a penny on me anyway.
Don't say that.
All right, Doc. Have you got a spare 5,000 pounds?
Yes. Well, I can't do that, Adrian. I'm your doctor.
Mr. Michaels, come along now, please.
If there's anything you want to talk about, Adrian, I'm here most of the time. And Zach, tell the inspector he should keep to the arranged times. I don't burst in when he's in the middle of an interrogation.
Yes, Mum. I'll tell him.
So how's your abused little arsonist soul? Stroked better by the nice doctor? I hope you see the burning faces of the 4 poor souls you have on your conscience every single night.
Thanks for asking.
You know what? I'm starting to run out of patience with you. If I could, I'd have you deported. Your fellow countrymen should be made to endure your fairy tales. Unfortunately, I can't do that.
If you'd led a decent investigation, then you'd have found evidence for my fairy tales a good while back.
And now the little thug wants to tell me how to do my job. Constable Zach was down in the sewers for 2 days, and what did he find? Nothing. And Miss Valley's also a mysterious order. Nonsense. No one here has even heard of it.
They had an assembly chamber in the mine, and Victoria knows about it too.
Assembly chamber? Don't make me laugh. Miss Valley gave lectures on the cursed Gordon clan in there. And the old biddy hasn't spoken since the fire.
Gordon clan? Old Biddy? Stop talking about my family like that.
Your family? Yeah, well, you'd actually fit in with those loonies.
Whatever. Can I go back to my cell now?
Unfortunately, I have to throw you out of your little paradise. Someone's paid your bail.
What did you say? Who?
Doesn't seem to be a friend of yours. Wanted to stay anonymous. Well, whatever. Get your things and get out of here. But don't go too far. Otherwise, I'll have to put you on the wanted list. That would be pretty much the most stupid thing that could happen to you.
I can well believe it.
All the better. So be a good boy and go collect your things from your apartment.
That's Chief Inspector Spooner, the man that made the last 3 weeks of my life a living hell. A real ray of sunshine. Do you have a moment, Inspector?
If you're quick.
Why do you dislike me?
I'm a cop. You're a criminal.
Come on, a little bit of friendliness never hurt anyone.
Miss Valley was friendly.
It wasn't me. How many times do I have to tell you? My doctor, Winterbottom, has she been living in Willow Creek for long?
She moved here 10, 12 years ago.
Why? Because of the murders?
Ask her yourself.
What was it that brought you here?
I don't know what that's got to do with you.
What about your partner? He seems really busy.
Zach. He's not my partner, he's my constable. And yes, he's got lots to do, so don't disturb him.
And you really don't know who paid my bail?
It's paid to the court, not to me. I just got a letter from them saying I should let you go.
This here village, Willow Creek, are there many criminals here?
Only since you turned up.
Does that mean it was quieter before? Not even a little bit of shoplifting?
Just normal village life. Punch-ups, rape, and drink driving.
So pretty much nothing happening. Have you found out anything about my ancestry?
Yep, I've got a copy of Darren Michael's birth certificate here. Born on the 27th of February 1970 in Boston, Massachusetts.
And what about Adrian Gordon?
He's still dead in the Gordon crypt. That's what it says in the death certificate signed by Dr. Heinz Herman. Cause of death, 5th degree burns.
5th degree? In other words, only his ashes are left. How convenient. That's all for now.
I'm keeping my eye on you.
I don't have any further questions for him right now. Only the Willow Creek police know why there's only one locker for a 2-man cell. My pencil... but where's my diary? The locker was open and my diary isn't inside. Damn. One of the few things I was allowed to take with me into my cell. No, I can't leave without my diary. Where did I put it? I can't have lost it inside the cell. I've slept on this pillow in this damn uncomfortable bed for the last 3 weeks. It doesn't smell as bad as it did at first. My friendly fellow inmate, Matt Newcastle. One of those kind of people that my mother always warned me about. Have you seen my diary?
Your diary? And here's me thinking it belonged to some nutter. I don't know what happened to me in the ritual chamber. What went wrong?
How did you get into my locker? Stop that. Constable!
Or worse, what if nothing went wrong? What if Mordred has been freed and has taken possession of me and is making me do his bidding? Please, somebody help me. Stop me from becoming a murderer.
Give that here, you bastard!
I don't want to be Mordred's puppet. I want this fiend to disappear, back to the hell he crawled out of.
I'll have you. I'll kill you!
Boo-hoo-hoo. I don't want to be a murderer. Boo-hoo. Don't make me crap myself. I'm so scared. Hey, what's wrong with you? Hey, Scarface! Oh, forget it, you nutter.
That moron Matt ripped up my diary. These are the only pages I could save, and most of them are empty. That moron Matt ripped up my diary. These are the only pages I could save, and most of them are empty. At the moment, there's nothing I need to write down.
Can you sign here, please? Just to confirm that you've read the bail conditions and that you've been instructed to register with Dr. Winterbottom every day. This here is a declaration of your state of health at the time of your provisional release.
But there's only good or very good on there.
So, you're not feeling so good then?
No.
Well, don't forget to sign it then. Here's your wallet. I keep the passport. And you need to sign here that you got your things back.
You promise with all this signing you haven't secretly slipped a confession in there, too?
That's not permitted.
Ah, so I'm in luck then. Just a minute, I was being a bit premature. There's $500,000 missing.
You should have checked for that before signing for it. Any subsequent complaints have to be addressed to our regional HQ in Bristol.
All right, just a joke. Is that it then?
Yes, you're free to go now, Mr. Michaels.
Amen.
Mr. Michaels?
Something else to sign?
No. I just wanted to inform you that your solicitor is assuming you're going to call him soon. Here's his card.
Got it. Catch you later, Constable. Free at last. Well, relatively. At least I can now prove my innocence by my own means. Now, let's see what my lawyer wants from me. As far as I know, there's no evidence room here. Collected evidence is kept in these lockers. They're always locked. I'm not going back there voluntarily. I'm not going back there voluntarily.
Hey, you there?
Help me! I'm being chased! They're gonna kill me! Jordan!
Don't I know you? That's just what I was going to say. That's the bloke we've been looking for. That's the gang. What?
Well, what a coincidence, Mr. Michaels. I'm arresting you on suspicion of the murder of Miss Amanda Valley. Calling for arson, too.
What? No.
Take him away, Colin.
Inspector.
Damn. Call him
She
up.
didn't set
Why
herself.
not? For God. Anyway, you stay here.
But,
I'm here on a.
Oh, you.
Do you know
Yes.
him? Behold,
Heh.
you could say that.
Hey, I was
So,
out
for
apart-
Gordon.
Since then,
Any other
he asked me about.
She really hadn't. What have we got here? Interesting. Aha. Darren Michaels, Bedford, Maine, last week. I'll bet anyone 10 quid that's the yank Tom was talking about.
Inspector.
Just let you can't just.
So you
Angelina.
fell in love with. She lured. Do me a favor. You
And
said
then, all in all,
you. So
no.
In the.
No.
Let's talk. Wait a minute, Constable. As you wish.
I don't. And you know
Is
what
it
the
still
Don't
not?
say that. Yes.
Mr.
If
Mike.
there's any and Zach.
Yes,
tell-
Mom.
So how's your abuse? I hope you
Thanks
see
for
that.
asking.
You know what? Your fellow.
you'd let it-
And
they
Miss
had an
assembly. Miss Valley,
Gordon clan?
your family.
Whatever.
Unfortunately,
What did you
doesn't
say?
but don't. That would be
I
pretty
can
much
well
all the
believe it.
better.
That's Chief Inspector. Do you have a moment, Inspector?
If you're quick.
Why do you dislike me?
I'm a cop. You're a criminal.
Come on. Little bit of friendliness never hurt anyone.
Miss Valley was friendly.
My doctor,
She moved
why?
here. Ask yours.
What was it
I
that
don't know
brought
what that's got to.
What about
Zach.
your pot?
It's
And
paid to the court.
this
Only since
does
you
that
took-
mean
just
it was
normal
so
bill.
pretty much. Have you found out anything
Yeah,
about
but
my
I've got it.
and
They
what
still
about
dead.
Fifth? That's all for now.
I'm keeping my eye on you.
I don't have any further questions. I prefer some coffee. The police archive. There aren't very many files, but lots of them are labeled Gordon. Cold coffee. The emergency call center. As you can see, it's manned around the clock. Constable Zach seems okay. Plays by the letter of the law and all that. Can I disturb you for a minute?
No?
Constable Zach seems okay. Unfortunately, Spooner isn't letting me talk to him. Can I disturb you for a minute?
No?
A photocopier. Looks really modern compared to the rest of the furniture. A photocopier. Looks really... That's probably just decoration, considering the weather here. I guess those are the keys to the cells. Apart from the fact that everyone here would notice if I took them, my cell is open. As far as I know, there's no evidence room here. Collected evidence is kept in these lockers. They're always locked. I don't have any further questions. My friendly fellow inmate, Matt Newcastle. One of those kind of people that my mother always warned me about. Hey Matt, tell me.
Did someone pull the toilet chain? Or is that you blubbering on?
Hey Matt, tell me.
Whatever it is, you're...
A garbage dump would be more sterile than these toilets. Would be nice if it worked. Ah, sweet bird of freedom. I'm coming. My reading material for the past 3 weeks. The intellectual outpourings of my frustrated predecessors. The top bunk hasn't been occupied since I've been here. There are people in the adjacent cell sometimes, though. I've slept on this pillow in this damn uncomfortable bed for the last 3 weeks. It doesn't smell as bad as it did at first. The road to freedom? More like the little turd's road to his big brother. The wash basin, also known as the spare toilet. Crumbling tiles. Why should the floor look any better than the rest? Only the Willow Creek police know why there's only one locker for a 2-man cell. My pencil... but where's my diary? The locker was open and my diary isn't inside. Damn. One of the few things I was allowed to take with me into my cell. Have you seen my diary?
Your diary? And here's me thinking it belonged to some nutter. I don't know what happened to me in the ritual chamber. What went wrong?
How did you get Constable?
Or worse. Please.
Give that here!
I don't...
I'll have you.
Boo-hoo-hoo! I don't want to be a murderer. Boo-hoo! Don't make me crap myself. I'm so scared. Hey! Hey! Oh, fuck.
I don't know what's going on with me just now, but I'd rather just keep my distance from that guy. I don't know what's going on with me. At the moment, there's nothing I need to write down.
Can you sign here, please? Just to confirm that you've read the bail conditions and that you've been instructed to register with Dr. Winterbottom. This here
But
is a...
there's-
So,
No.
well, don't forget to sign it then. Here's your wallet. And you need to sign...
You
That's
promise.
not...
Just a minute.
You should have
All
checked.
right.
Yes.
Amen.
Mr.
Something else to
No.
sign? Got it. Catch it. Free at last. Well, relatively. Now, let's see what my lawyer wants from me. My lawyer's business card. Never thought I'd need one of those. Do you have a moment, Inspector?
If you're quick.
The guy in the other cell,
As a paragon of virtue,
what did he do?
he beat up annoying little Americans. Should I let him out?
All right. That's all for now.
I'm keeping my eye on you.
I don't have any further questions. Constable Zach seems okay. Unfortunately, Spooner isn't letting me talk to him. Can I disturb you for a minute?
No?
I don't need a copy of that. My lawyer's business card. Would never have thought. I need to call my lawyer urgently.
Mr. Jones from the law firm Jones & Partners.
Hello, Mr. Jones. Darren Michaels here. I was told you wanted to speak to me?
Ah, Mr. Michaels, yes. The investigations are stagnating, rather. As long as there's no evidence for the allegations brought against you, you can't be charged. So that's good. On the other hand, your fellow countrymen want to step into the ring, too. The American embassy is on our back. That's not so good.
And what does that mean exactly?
Well, that you're going to have to sit tight in Willow Creek for quite a while. Inspector Spooner's investigation methods. You implied the last time that you weren't too happy with them?
Yes, it seems to me that Spooner isn't really bothered anymore.
Inspector Spooner just wanted to produce a guilty party and then get the case closed as soon as he could. He has to produce results so that he can get back to London. But he's rather used up all his ammo. Now he's hoping that the embassy will take the case off him so that he doesn't have to chalk it up as a failure.
So he doesn't really seem to be interested in the truth.
Well, the truth, Mr. Michaels, as is generally known, is the invention of a liar. But the fact you've got bail is a good sign. And that someone's been found to pay for it is even better. Perhaps you should have a look yourself, now that you've been released, for some clues or slip-ups in the investigation. Would be best if you could get a copy of your file.
Are you convinced that I'm innocent, Mr. Jones?
Of course, Mr. Michaels. Do you think I could represent you if I wasn't? Nevertheless, we should hurry up and find some solid evidence to prove it.
This somebody who you maintain means well has paid the bail anonymously. Can you find out who it was?
No, no problem. But it'll take a couple of days.
How long do I have to put up with this psychotherapy?
You're gonna have to hang in there for a few more rounds at least. It's in your best interest.
The last assessment was rejected. What good can it do?
Forget about the authorities. You ever thought that you might actually need therapy?
Do you think I'm crazy?
Aren't we all? But seriously, Mr. Michaels, try and do something about your mental condition. If you end up having to face a lawsuit in the States, your family's mental history isn't going to impress the jury one bit. So stop blocking shots and come out from behind your guard, man.
You said I should have another look at my file. Is it really so easy to do that?
Well, it depends on the inspector in charge. But if you flatter him a little, he might let you have a look. Otherwise, I could request a copy and send it on to you.
That's gonna take too long. I'll try to get my hands on it myself. Mr. Jones, did you find out anything about my identity? Police here don't seem to be putting any effort into it.
Yes. Concerning your identity, Mr. Michaels, it's hard to prove anything at the moment. Find documents, birth certificates, that kind of thing. But don't forget to go to your therapy session.
Whatever. I'll be in touch.
Keep your head up. Attack is the best form of defense.
Who should I call? All the people whose numbers I knew by heart are now dead. A huge cartwheel. Thankfully, the age when people were racked up on them has long passed. A rainwater butt. There are lots of them around. You know, just in case Willow Creek suffers a drought. Do you have a moment, Inspector?
If you're quick.
Why should I want to set fire to the castle?
Well, it could be because you were shipped off to America as a kid and had a miserable life there. Until you found out that you'd been taken for a ride your whole life. Then you came back to England to take revenge on your family.
What a load of crap.
So you finally admit it. It's all total bollocks. That's exactly why you have to see Dr. Winterbottom. And I'm gonna make sure that there are a lot more doctors taking care of you all day for the rest of your life. I can tell you why it was you. Because you're bloody mad. A nutter. You're obsessed with being a Gordon. A descendant of a murderous clan. It's some kind of justification for your irrational desire to burn and set fire to things. You pyromaniac.
It was Lewis. Damn it.
Oh yeah, the gardener. Then find him. He's disappeared without a trace since you've been here. Have you got him weighing on your conscience too? Spit it out.
Can I have a look at my file?
Why? Have you forgotten something you've done?
Apart from the fact that it wasn't me?
No, you can't have a look.
Could you make me a copy of it then?
Of course not. That's a police file.
That's all for now.
I'm keeping my eye on you.
Constable Zach seems okay. Plays by the... Unfortunately, Spooner isn't letting me talk. What am I supposed to copy then? As long as Spooner's here, there's no way I'll be able to get at my file. I'm not going back there voluntarily. I don't need a copy of that. A letterbox. Nothing special. A letterbox. A barrel. It says Willow Creek Corner Shop on it. A barrel. Fresh vegetables. Very paltry selection. I prefer the frozen variety. What's her problem? An access point to the sewer system. Brings back memories that I'd rather forget. You could sit and eat here. Nothing to buy anymore, though. A piece of thin board. Ah, it's a menu. They probably don't need it anymore. The sorry remains of a sorry annual fair. I don't think there's anything useful here. Just a pile of junk. No idea what the river's called. The water is cloudy and dark. Wonder what kind of fish can survive in there. And who catches and eats them. No idea what the river... A narrow, thin board. I found it amongst the remains of the fair. They're so absorbed in the conversation that they don't even notice me. Perhaps it's better that way. barrel. It says Willow Creek Corner Shop on it. A barrel. Why would I mail a menu board? Yeah, that's how I like vegetables. Microwave ready on top of a steak. Ice cream. My favorite flavors. And a good size, too. My mom always used to say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, one of my moms. A hint of France in Willow Creek. It's the news on a news channel. I assume it's gonna be like that all day. Maybe they show documentaries about heavy trucks or aircraft carriers in between the bulletins. But I'm not interested. That's a Transylvanian-sized portion of garlic. We can assume the shop won't be attacked by vampires. Brandy, spirits, and various types of whiskey. Everything an aching heart could wish for. Various smoking products. Tobacco, cigars, stuff for pipes. The inhabitants of Willow Creek seem to really enjoy smoking. Walking maps of the area. Indispensable for a suspected murderer out on bail, like myself. The shopkeeper's looking at me like I'm a thief. Or worse. The shopkeeper's looking at me like I'm a thief. Or worse. Candy for kids. Although I haven't seen a single one so far. A cash register. Brand? Fossil. This open bag of coffee beans makes the shop smell real nice. Milk. All the most important newspapers are there. The Final Times, The Moon, Daily Black Mirror, and the Willow Creek Telegraph. The latest prices of apples, bread, and milk are written on this big board. Tea, 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 and, oh, look, tea. Instant porridge, soup in packets, and masses of powdered pudding. The infamous English cuisine at a glance. A random selection. There's everything from romantic novels to Zen guidebooks. Huge eggs from huge chickens. I don't know why, but I find that funny.
I hope you only want to cut up veggies with that. Sir?
Some very nice knives. Some very nice. A shopping basket. I don't need it. I'm only having a look around. That'll have gherkins in it. That must be the shopkeeper with a whistle hung around her neck. She looks a bit nervous. I wonder if that's because of me. Hello.
What do you want?
This is a shop, isn't it? Then maybe I want to buy something?
Okay.
I'm Darren, by the way.
I know exactly who you are.
Oh, really? Who am I then?
You're the arsonist who was in the newspaper.
I'm not gonna set your shop on fire. Anyway, I'm innocent.
Oh, I'm sure you are. But please, don't stay too long. Otherwise, I will have to call the police.
Yeah, right.
And without a telephone, I'll just use my whistle.
What is this? Willow Creek's main shopping drag?
Oh, we've got everything that people need here. Usually, you can order too, but then it'll be delivered next week, if that's okay with you.
That won't be necessary. I'm just having a look around. The old woman who just ran out. Could it be that she's a little crazy?
Dorothy? Oh no, she's just as crazy as you are. I mean, she's fine. The whistle was her idea.
Are you scared of me?
Of course not. I've got my whistle. As soon as anyone comes too close, I blow it. And it's so loud, even the gravedigger in Wormhill can hear it.
Clever, Abaya.
How do you know my name?
You've got that little badge on?
Oh, yeah.
By the way, your name's quite uncommon, Abaya. Where does it come from?
It's Indian. Don't you like it?
Oh, I do. It sounds very pretty. Does it mean anything?
The fearless one.
I'd like to buy one of these walking maps.
Please take it. You don't need to come to the till. It's on the house.
Oh. Thank you very much. See ya.
I hope not.
The sales girl is terrified of me. As long as I don't ask her any questions, then I probably won't give her a heart attack. Some very nice. Flower vase or coffee cup? Probably both. They look really pathetic, but still better than cheap plastic ones. This is the best seat in the house, with a view of the village square. Unbelievably thrilling. You can watch the moss growing between the paving stones. Looks comfortable, unlike the chairs. The sugar's empty. Coffee in all its guises, from mocha to Irish coffee. The list of teas is still twice as long, though. Now here's something quite different. It's a nice contrast to the rest of medieval Willow Creek. Coffee culture is spreading. Mild beans and double roasted. Is Willow Creek ready for this? Photos of parties here in the cafe. I really didn't think they celebrated anything here in Willow Creek. Kinda weird. Lots of the people in the photos have been murdered. Shame. No donuts left. Shame. No donuts. At last, a ray of sunshine. I was beginning to think there were only gross-looking guys with alcohol problems living in this dump. Hi,
I know. I recognize you from the newspaper.
And you're not gonna run away screaming?
I'd have a lot of running to do if I ran away from every weirdo in this dump.
You really like living here, huh? Has anything exciting happened recently?
Apart from the fire at the castle? Wait a minute. Yeah, the espresso machine broke down.
Has this cafe been here long? I've never noticed it before.
We were closed during the fair this year.
Is it even worth having a cafe here in the village?
You'll have to ask my dad. It's his cafe. Why do you ask? Do you want to open one too?
Yeah, sure. Right next door. A Black Mere special cafe with ritual blood cappuccino and latte morbidato.
Good idea. Could have come from Murray.
By the way, I'm Darren. Or Adrian Gordon. Take your pick.
I'm Denise, or the one who's got no time for insane arsonists. Take your pick.
Wow. I think I prefer Denise.
All right then, Darren.
So, what's a young woman like you doing in a place like this? Not one for city living?
Hell yeah. I'm just waiting for the right moment.
You mean when the twice-yearly bus to London stops here?
Something like that.
Are you out of donuts?
No, there are some in the storeroom, but they're reserved for the nice inspector. He buys them here every morning.
Of course. And what if I want one too?
Then bake one yourself.
When does the inspector usually come in?
He should have been here to pick up his donuts ages ago. He's probably been delayed by the scum of the earth. Again.
Nice description.
That's what Conrad calls his clientele, not me.
Conrad?
Conrad Spooner. That's what the inspector's called. Didn't you know?
I'd like a coffee, black.
Coming up.
I think the door leads into the storeroom. At least that's what your sign suggests. Okay, I've got to come up with something that's gonna make Spooner hang out here in the cafe for a while. A shelf full of stock for the cafe. What have we got here? Coffee, tea, juice, milk. Ah, and a package of donuts. There are things like coffee, tea, juice, and milk on the shelf. Those have to be the donuts specially reserved for Spooner. There are things like coffee, tea, juice. There are things like a wash bucket filled with, dirty water. A wash bucket. A high-performance chest freezer with a glass lid. Not a lot in it. A pack of tart bases. Oh, and a box of ice cream. Mint and chocolate. The seal is in really bad shape. If it gets wet, you probably wouldn't be able to get the chest open anymore. Donuts. Basic nutrition for cops like Spooner. I'll put the box of donuts in a nice visible spot in the freezer. We're gonna have frozen donuts here soon. Begging the question, how's that gonna help me? We're gonna have frozen donuts here soon. Begging the... A wash bucket filled with I'd better close the freezer so the donuts can get cozy in there. This is hardly gonna stop Spooner, though. I'm gonna have to make sure that the freezer isn't so easy to open. I can't just merrily waltz into the storeroom. The waitress would spot me. Hello? I didn't know that donuts was so popular in England.
I don't know, but I do know that Spooner loves them. Just as much as those cops in American TV shows.
And what does the dear inspector do when there aren't any donuts left?
He always gets what he wants. If need be, I bake him some.
I'll have another coffee, please.
It's on the bar.
It's cold. Can I get a new one?
Sure.
A wash bucket filled with, dirty water. Now it's open again. We're gonna have frozen donuts here soon. Begging the question? A wash bucket filled with, there are things like coffee. I'd better close the freezer so the donuts... This is hardly gonna stop Spooner, though. I'm gonna have to make sure that the freezer isn't so easy to open. the inspector needs his donuts every morning, and there weren't any to be had, then he would be sure to be out of his office for a while. Hello? I think I'll
It's
have
on the
another.
bar.
It's cold.
Okay.
There are things like coffee, tea. There were a load of knives in that before, or am I mistaken?
Sold out.
All of the knives have gone. So either there's a cookery contest happening here soon, or the whole of Willow Creek has armed itself. The sales girl is terrified of me. The sales girl. As long as Spooner's here, there's no way I'll be able to get him. Who should I call? All the people.
Jones and Partners Chambers. Please leave your name and telephone number. We're in your corner.
I'll have time to sit there when I'm old. Is that Tom's underwear hanging out to dry? Nope. Cloths. They aren't particularly clean, but I wouldn't expect anything else from Tom's pub. You know? I'm glad I drank bottled beer last time I was there. The windows have colored plastic stuck on them. It's hard to make out anything. It says 3 kegs, probably of beer. It looks like it hasn't been used for a very long time. I'm about to change that. A dry sponge full of chalk dust. You can hardly make out what used to be written there, but I assume that nothing edible has ever been served here, at least since Tom inherited the pub. You can hardly, but I assume that... How do you wipe nothing away? Probably belongs to a fisherman. My dry sponge is now a wet sponge. Hello? I'll have another coffee, please.
Sure.
If I leave the wet sponge on the lid, I'm sure it would freeze onto it. It'd be a fascinating exercise, but not really all that helpful. If I leave the wet sponge on the lid, a wash bucket filled with, dirty water. A wash bucket. How do you wipe nothing? I've wet the sponge, and now it's soaking in my pocket. Gotta get rid of it soon. Murderous greetings from Willow Creek. The usual postcards and brochures. That's Tom's pub. I think he's still a bit angry because I left him in the swamp. And stole his car. Tom would like to see me dead. At least that's the last thing he said to me. Tom would like to see me dead. At least that's the last thing he said to me. Hello, Doctor? Can I ask you a quick question?
Of course. Come on up.
Today's newspaper. There are probably lots of new, unbelievable revelations about the arsonist in it. You could hardly call this straggle of flowers a bouquet. Whenever I'm here, the ashtray is full. Dr. Winterbottom smokes like a chimney. Perhaps she should be in therapy. Dr. Winterbottom's notebook. Probably very revealing. At some point, she'll be able to write her memoirs with it. Dr. Winterbottom's lighter. Quite an expensive one. I guess it was a present. The famous psychiatrist's couch. Until now, I always thought it was a joke, but it's actually quite comfortable. Dr. Winterbottom writes down a patient's dreams in the green books, but I haven't seen anyone else but me here yet. Strange. Hello, Doctor. I wonder if the record of our discussions will end up in there. I wonder if the record of our A Newton's cradle. The ball passes on its momentum to the next one, which passes it on to the next until it reaches the last one, which can't pass it on any further and is kicked into the air. A simple example of kinetic energy, but its only use is to work this toy. A Native American dream catcher. It's supposed to protect you from nightmares. My adoptive mother had a lamp like that. I always had fun hiding in it when I was a kid. Doctor?
What's troubling you, Adrian?
Do you believe me?
Darren, Adrian, we've gone through this so many times before. Of course I believe you.
Then why am I still on the hit list?
I'm a doctor, not a judge. By the way, they rejected the assessment of your not being of sound mind.
Rejected? But what about the awful nightmares?
That kind of reaction is only normal, Adrian. If somebody suddenly revealed to me that I was descended from a long line of bloodthirsty murderers, I'd have nightmares too.
How come you ended up here in the first place?
A colleague of mine I'd known from my student days. A doctor. Heinz Hermann. Once worked here in the sanatorium. He was a friend of the Gordons. Then, 12 years ago, those dreadful murders took place. Heinz was one of the victims. I came here to give his family and the others a little spiritual support, and I'm still here. That's just how life goes sometimes.
This Spooner reckons he's a bit of a big shot.
He's one of those people who pack their own bags and then complain when they're too heavy.
What kind of bags?
Oh, he mucked something up in London and was posted here as punishment. Something he's not dealing with too well.
What did he do? Book the wrong guy?
You know about it? Well, Mr. Spooner is a bit of a trigger-happy cowboy. As far as I know, he overstepped his authority back in London, and that led to some guilty people getting off. Or maybe the other way round. However, I'm not exactly right in the picture with all this.
Oh, great. A bad-natured investigator who can't tell the difference between guilty and innocent. I couldn't have come up against a better guy. Get this, I've been released on bail.
Well, that's a good reason to celebrate.
I'm not quite so sure. The bail was paid anonymously. You know anything about that by any chance?
Anonymously? No. Who'd do something like that?
No idea. To be honest, I'd hoped you were behind it. You like living in Willow Creek?
Yes, I like the life and the people. It's like time stood still here.
And every few years, along comes some psycho and murders half a dozen locals.
Yes, well, compared to the murder statistics in London, it's a proper holiday here.
Do you see me as being an arsonist?
Judging by your nightmares, you do at least seem to have a violence-orientated imagination.
Yeah, but Stephen King has that too.
As far as I'm aware, he has never been under suspicion of an arson attack resulting in 3 dead.
Whose side are you actually on?
On your side, Adrian.
Good. I swear to you that I've only ever told you the truth.
There are as many truths as there are people, Adrian, and we still have to find yours.
I had a strange experience earlier. It was just like one of my nightmares, but this time I was awake. It was in the police station, just as I was wanting to pick up my stuff. I suddenly found I had awesome strength. I dragged the guy to me through the bars and rammed my pencil into his eye. Wham! Then it was all over. It was just so real. Scary.
You don't say.
Huh, great. So I'm cursed and possessed.
I was talking to a colleague about you the other day. She's how shall I put it? She understands alternative therapies.
What's that all about then? Drugs? Electric shock? Voodoo?
Hypnosis.
You're not serious.
It would at least be a possible way of finding out more.
Well, for my part, as long as you don't saw open the top of my skull. These sessions, how long are they supposed to continue for?
What do you mean?
Well, I've been coming here every day for the past 3 weeks, but I'm still having nightmares every night, and the assessment says I'm 100% fit.
We ought to try hypnosis.
And what's that supposed to do? You want to join in on my nightmares?
Let's just try it tomorrow. If we can get to your roots, then perhaps we'll understand what your dreams are trying to tell us.
Boo. That's what they want to tell us. The dreams, I mean. Well, okay then, Doc. If you think that this might help me in some way, catch you later.
Take care.
I don't have anything to ask. I wonder if the record of our discussions... Willow Creek's Museum of Local History. A valuable hoard of English cultural history. The sign says Willow Creek Museum. Murray hopes to attract tourists that way. Up there is Dr. Joyce Winterbottom's practice. It's very cozy. I'd just like to see my file before I leave the village. There's a poster hanging here. We're rebuilding for you. Soon we'll be even more spectacular. Experience the horror up close and personal. Reopening on the 1st of December. Oh, that's in a few days' time. Hello? I think I'll have another one.
Okay.
Now it's open again. I'll wet the ceiling rubbers with the wet sponge. If you close the freezer now, the water will freeze and it'll be almost impossible to open it again without defrosting the whole thing. Farewell, you donuts. Nobody's gonna be getting you out of there in a hurry. Now that ought to slow down the inspector's donut order somewhat. A wash bucket. The lid's frozen shut. Now that ought to slow down the inspector.
Another one of these flat days today. I could really do with something to lift me up a little.
Edward could come along at any time. Better if we wait till this evening.
Sod Edward. A couple of donuts at least.
Yeah, sure. I'll get you some. Conrad, your donuts seem to have ended up in the freezer.
Yeah? Can't you bung them in the oven for a bit?
The problem is, the lid's frozen solid.
Ah, I get it. You want me to help you warm up your frozen chest?
I think those two are gonna be busy for a while. The cafe waiter is a real stiff. Maybe he's just swallowed something rather nasty? Ah, I'll just ask him. Hi.
Good day, sir.
You almost look like a waiter to me.
You're absolutely right, sir. My name is Edward.
Do you know the inspector?
Of course. He's a very good customer. Perhaps a little too good. He likes to keep Denise from doing her work. And she likes being distracted.
So maybe it's not the right job for her.
On the contrary, sir. I tell her father time and again she's absolutely the right woman for the job. Even the workmen from the castle come down here for a coffee. I really couldn't imagine anyone better for the job than her.
What can you tell me about Willow Creek?
A quiet place. Bad for midwives, they'd find no work here. But ideal for authors, if they happen to write thrillers.
Yeah, or horror stories. It's a nice cafe you've got here.
Thank you, sir. I do all I can to keep it that way.
Aren't cafes a bit uncommon in England?
If you say so, sir. But I think this place deserves an alternative to that drunkard's dive over there.
You've got lots of photos of the people of Willow Creek in here. Have you got any of the Gordons?
Sorry, sir, but the Gordons do not keep company in these humble rooms.
Where do they keep company then?
As far as I know, they very rarely leave their estate. They used to go to church every Sunday, but it's been a long time since they've even done that.
I'd better be going.
Please do us the honor again soon, sir.
Later. I've asked all I want to know for the moment. I better not go in there right now, or Denise will bar me from the place. Can I ask you something briefly?
Hmm?
Do you believe I set fire to the castle?
Well, Mr. Michaels, you claim to be Samuel Gordon's son, and you were at the scene of the crime with a smoldering torch in your hand.
I had that to defend myself with.
Against the mysterious secret order that nobody knows about and nobody's seen?
It's mentioned in the Gordon Chronicles.
500 years ago.
Forget it.
And then there was the thing with poor Miss Valley, right? We found your tracks at the scene of the crime.
I told you, forget it. Spooner, your inspector, is he always so nice?
I don't know. He was in the homicide department in London until half a year ago. Then, he got redeployed here as a punishment.
That explains a lot.
Since then, he's tried everything to get back out of here. He locks people up for the smallest of misdemeanors. Good for the statistics, you see.
And you can't do anything about it?
What does a bear do about the winter? He rows himself up and sleeps until the spring comes.
Can you make a copy of my file and send it to my lawyer?
Didn't he get one ages ago?
He, wants to have the current version for the embassy.
Not possible.
Something wrong?
I'd forgotten. The copier gave up the ghost a few weeks back, but there's a new one on order.
Are you being serious?
It's not so bad. I've so little to do here, I could type up most of the documents.
I understand. So, would you be so kind as to type my file?
No.
And what if I fix that thing?
All right then, you go and see what you can do with it.
How long are you gonna look for Angelina?
She'll be deemed missing until we find her.
Even if she's long since dead?
We haven't found a body yet, Mr. Michaels.
How involved were you in the investigation of my case?
I searched the sewer system and the bunker.
And you didn't find any clues?
No.
That just can't be true.
It's bloody dark down there, Mr. Michaels, and full of rats. Not for the faint-hearted.
Is there anything new on the kidnapping? Have you spoken to Tom, Bobby, or the kid in Wales?
According to the statement, Tom was at Alton Towers with Bobby at the time.
And you don't find it a little bit strange that those two went to a theme park?
The only strange thing was that Bobby was in hospital for 2 days afterwards with concussion. But we've got a medical certificate that proves that.
And what if Tom was lying?
We can't prove it. He had 2 tickets for the theme park and the paperwork from the hospital.
Damn. And the boy?
There's no one called Van Helsing in Wales.
Goodbye, Constable. I'm not going back there voluntarily. I'll just leave him in peace for now. It can't be that difficult to fix a copier. I studied it once. Well, kind of. What if we got here? The fuse has blown. Switch to turn it on, and you press the green button to copy. If I twist and connect the wires that work, it should be able to copy again. wires that aren't cooked have to be hooked up to the power switch somehow. I'll just leave him in peace for now. I don't need a copy of that. I don't need a copy of that. I don't need a copy of that. fuse has blown, but I can bypass that. Now, we just have to get the working data cables to fit. I don't need a copy of that. I'll just leave him in peace for now. wires that aren't cooked have to be hooked up to the power switch somehow. fuse is blown, but I can bypass that. Now, we just have to get the working data cables to fit. The wires that I'd just like to see my file before I leave the village. There's a poster hanging here. We're rebuilding for you. Soon will be even more spectacular. Experience the horror up close and personal. There's a poster hanging here. I don't want to disturb her. I don't want to disturb her. fuse is blown. But now, we just have to get the working data cables to fit. That should do it. Can I ask you something briefly?
Hmm?
The copier's working again.
Hmm?
Now, can you copy my file?
Sure. Then I'll send the copy to your lawyer. The copy of your file?
Then I can send it myself.
The inspector insists that no files can leave the building without authorization.
I see. Damn. Constable?
Mm-hmm?
When does the mail go? My lawyer needs the file as soon as possible.
I'll post it later on. It ought to be collected this afternoon.
Thanks. Goodbye, Constable. I'll just leave him in peace for now. I'm not going back there ever. Okay, this is my last chance to get my hands on the file. I somehow need to stop the letter from vanishing irretrievably into the mailbag. The board is just the right size. It'll go straight on top of the mailbag, so that when the constable posts the letter, I can easily pull it out again. Worked. Let's see what's in here. Friday afternoon, 12:30. Oh, they must have discovered the body then. The time of death for Miss Valley was the previous evening, Thursday, between 10 and midnight. Cause of death, burned alive after a blow to the back of the head. Grim. Witness interviews. Let's see. Not important. Saw nothing. It continues. Friday, 1837. Emergency services called out. At that time, I was in the ruins of the old academy with Angelina, Lewis, and my mother. Then, Saturday, 12:06 a.m. Fire under control. At that time, I was running from the ruins in the direction of the castle. 3 bodies were retrieved. Lady Eleanor Gordon, Edward Bartholomew Bates, the butler, and Sally Wood, the cook. 1 survivor, Lady Victoria Gordon, suffering from severe smoke inhalation. Also on Saturday morning, 12:12 a.m., Darren Michaels arrested on suspicion of arson and murder of Miss Valley. Witness interviews on the subject unproductive, and Lady Victoria Gordon could not as yet be questioned. She remains in shock. After a 2-week period of hospitalization, was discharged of her own wishes to continue medical supervision at home. Hey, it says here that Murray can't remember having seen me in the hotel on Thursday evening. That can't be right. That was exactly when he threw me out of the hotel. Oh, the rat was lying. Just wait. Evidence still insufficient to charge, but strongly suspected of crime. Current state of the investigation. Darren Michaels' conduct, as well as his contradictory testimony, is currently being examined for plausibility by the psychiatric expert, Dr. Joyce Winnebon. Here's a note to Constable Zach. If he's diagnosed as nuts, will he have to be remanded in a loony bin? Possible murder weapon, a torch, still smoldering, which was in Darren Michaels' possession when apprehended. He is undergoing forensic examination. Deportation to USA not possible. Release of the suspect on bail on direction of the court. Dr. Winterbottom authorized as prime supervisory agent and point of referral. Good, and I've got 2 new goals already. Visit Victoria and see how she's doing, and let Murray know what I think. I'll write in the file so I don't forget. There are enough empty pages. I can stash the remains of my diary away with it as well.